first off, thank you very much for coming today. It's a special year already at Rice. You see this beautiful facility that we've moved into, and I tell you, first I want to thank President LeBron for making this happen. And I want to thank our athletic director, Joe Carlgard, for the effort he put in. We had a blast yesterday. We walked the fifth-year seniors in here, held them all in a group out front, and they went and toured what we were in initially, and then we brought them over here and went room to room with them, and it was just incredible to watch their faces light up. Fantastic facility, though, from the locker room to the training room to the meeting rooms to this team room. Really it changes the whole, you walk in this morning, your alarm goes off at 5, you come popping in over here and you can't wait to get to work and get this building because there's still a little construction going on. So every day you walk in and they keep improving it, and you just think, God, it just keeps getting better every day I come to work. And it's how the players too, I mean, you see them just walking the building and seeing it still change every day. But really, this university, just thank you, and I'm telling you, it just shows Rice is committed to getting it done. As far as the season goes with this team, I'm really truly excited. We've got 16, really almost 17 starters back on the team when you include Grayson Shantz, who got hurt, who was starting for us earlier in the year at defensive end. And I like the way they went to work. We didn't go to a bowl. After going to 3 straight bowls, all of a sudden we don't go to a bowl game. And as hard as that was on us, there's power in failure because it forced us to focus. It forced us to forced me to analyze everything we're doing in this program, offense, defense, special teams. It forced this football team to really look in the mirror and see that they're willing to recommit and dedicate themselves to living to the expectations that we expect. We expect to compete for conference championships. We expect to compete to get a bowl game slot. And when you don't, and after doing it 3 straight years and you're sitting at home in December, bowl season's not fun when you're not in one. And, those are the goals for this year. I think the senior class we have is absolutely amazing. Alex Lyons, defensively, started at linebacker for us the last 2 years, has been the leading tackler this year. He'll be one of the cornerstones defensively with Tabari McGaskey, with Derek Brown, JT Blassingame. So we have great senior leadership on that side of the ball. And all those freshmen we started last year on defense, you know what? They're sophomores this year. And a year of maturity, that always helps. And I think you'll see a much improved defense. I think we're a sideline-to-sideline defense. I think getting Grayson Shantz back at defensive end and Brian Womack on the other side, we'll be able to really get some speed off the edges there and be a very disruptive defensive line. I think the linebackers will really be the strength of our defense with Alex and Emmanuel Ellerby and Nick Uresti coming in there in our secondary. You'll get a healthy JT Blassingame back at corner, and that's going to really help us. Offensively, we've got all of our running backs are back. You look at Jawan Davis. He had an incredible spring, had some off-season ankle surgery. Incredible spring. Derek Dillard, one of the most solid, consistent performers we've had. Sam Stewart, and really Ashton and Austin Walters, very explosive, dynamic guys with a football in their hands. Our tight ends are back. Connor Sella, who I think is probably the top tight end in this conference. And our offensive line, those 2 freshman tackles we ended up starting last year, now be sophomores, and those 2 sophomore guards are now juniors. And Connor Patterson's back in the mix as a senior. So I think our offensive line's really in great shape with some depth going into it. We've made some moves, where we're going to be able to really change tempos when we want. We will always be able to have a 4-minute offense, but I think we're going to be a lot more explosive offensively this year. Special teams with Jack Fox will do our punting and kickoff. He's got one of the greatest legs I've seen in a long time, since Chris Boswell. He's just really a phenomenal leg. So excited about the season. It's great to start it off healthy. It's great to start it off in this new building. And we practiced today at 5 o'clock, and know you guys are welcomed at anything we do, and we encourage you to come to practice and get to know these guys, because let me tell you, these young men, are phenomenal, phenomenal men. You know, one of the things we'll always know at Rice is, you know, you look at those stars and people are rating them 5 stars, 4 stars, 3 stars. We have 5-star minds here. We have 5-star young men. We have 5-star guys that are involved in the community. And for us to win, we got to be the best team. And that's what we expect to be this year, the hardest working, smartest football team in Conference USA. Any questions?
Coach, a couple years ago, you did exactly what you wanted to do, win the conference, it's a big bowl game. You know that the expectation bar that you have set can be met. When you look at the faces of the guys that were here last year and endured all that, I mean, where do you feel like the mindset is? Like, do you feel like they're locked in on getting back to where you know they can be, and they know they can be?
Yeah, I do. You know what? And I forgot to bring up the receiving core we have back. You know, one of the guys I'm the most excited about is Zach Wright. I think he's offered tremendous leadership as a senior, and he's been a catalyst in making sure we're getting back to where we need to go. You know, doing everything right, doing everything day to day. And, you know, one of the things we're talking about, too, is just going back to, you know, one play at a time, one day at a time, and trying to do our best. You know, I'm also, too, I forgot to talk about Tyler Staling at quarterback. I think he's a guy that's, you talk about, he's a 5th-year senior. He's been here not just waiting on his turn, but preparing for this season. I think he is absolutely ready, and he is very talented, and we're excited. We think we need him just to make great decisions with the football, because I think he has a supporting cast around him. If we take care of the football and get it where it needs to go, we're going to be very explosive offensively with him.
Y'all went to 3 consecutive bowls, first time in school history, so you don't talk about there being power and failure. How much do you use that as leverage in building your team up going forward?
You know, I don't know, Mark, that you'd call it leverage, but when you meet with the team, they felt exactly how I did last year, going 5-7. You know, you're almost angry when you sit there in December and watch teams that you thought you were better than there, and we didn't get there. And you know, these guys started working in January with that in mind, of making sure we do what got us to win the conference championship in 13 and the Hawaii Bowl in 14. You know, we're not ever going to be the biggest, the fastest, but we can be the best team. And we had been the best team. We came together as a team in 12, won the championship in 13 and 14, and we got to make sure we're the best team. We got to make sure these seniors, as obstacles appear, they don't divide us, that it makes us stronger. And I think that's what last season did. It made us appreciate what we had going a lot more, and we're not going to take winning for granted.
Do you want that anger to continue?
Absolutely. You know, it ain't Wimbledon. You know, we want to have gentlemen off the field, but it's a violent football game. Football's violent, and that's how we need to play it.
What was it like when you brought the players over, especially the 50-year guys? What was it like the first time you brought the players over, especially the 50-year players brought over this building?
That was, you know what, it was fantastic. It felt like we'd had an undefeated season, just following them around, watching their faces and listening to their descriptions of what they were seeing. And it was more of a really just truly an emotional response, because they had, you know, we had recruited those class to this building and had postponed it. So it's great that they actually, you know, are going to get to play their senior years in it. And we made sure we had them in a group, that, you know, we started here. We took them to the training room together. We took them to the locker room together. We took them to the meeting rooms together. And I think every time you took them into a different room, it was like they'd opened a better package at Christmas. You know, there's more oohs and ahs, and you know, and you get to talk to them in a minute, and they'll tell you about it. But it was one where, you know, when you get my age, you like watching them. And it was fun watching the emotion, and you saw the strong relationships they have, of the way they were hugging and high-fiving and chest bumping everywhere we went. Where a guy like me, you know, that's what you want to see, is the emotional response to this building, and they still get it. You know, in there this morning at breakfast, that's all they could talk about was what a fantastic, you know, facility this is going to be for us, and how this just changes their mindset of wanting to come over here and go to work.
What kind
of difference can that make to not only the current players, but the people you want to bring in? Is that kind of a new little game changer for you guys?
You know, absolutely. I think it's going to help us tremendously in recruiting. You know, now you take that Rice education and you look at a team. We've gone to 4 bowl games since I've been here. You know, it's one where a guy realized, we got 10 guys in the NFL last season. So I think it's one where guys realize all their dreams can come true, be them athletically, be them academically. You know, this degree is going to take care of them the rest of their life. And that's really the purpose of college, is to prepare you for life. And I think that's what Rice University does academically, and I think that's what Rice football does athletically. I think when these guys graduate, they're in high demand because they're able to do both and excel academically and athletically.
Coach, how much is this new facility about keeping pace in the group of 5, you know, in the arms race? Everybody has new facilities, but how much is it about just trying to stay Rice's claim to place in the group of 5? Keep up?
Yeah, you know, I'm going to tell you, it wasn't just it wasn't wanted, it was needed. You know, it had been a long time since we had built a facility, so I wouldn't say we're trying to keep up, but it's one where it was time, and the president realized it was time that we needed to build something, and that's why I applaud him so much. He put the weight of Rice University behind it to make sure this happened.
Coach, talk a little bit about the offense in general. You said that it'll be maybe a little bit different. Can you talk a little bit about maybe how it might be different?
Yeah, well, one of the things we changed from the staff is, you know, we've had an incumbent quarterback around here from McCard to Dreyfus. This is going to be Tyler's first year to start. So I changed the staff where Larry Edmondson had been calling the plays, but I wanted him to dedicate his time just to developing our quarterbacks. So I changed Larry, and now next year Billy Lynch will call our plays, who had been they'd been co-coordinators, so I made that change. You know, we're going to have just more up-tempo. We're going to have 4 different speeds we can operate at, where we'll be able to go fast, or we can slow it down completely when we're going to want to go to a 4-minute game. I don't think we'll see quite as many personnel packages, but you'll see a lot of different formations, and I'm pleased with what we did. I'd love to tell you everything, but I won't. And I'm really trying right now just to stall you and not really talk much about it. Most of what I just told you I made up.
Well, you could probably talk about Derek. Is Derek's role going to be similar? Dillard?
Absolutely. I mean, you look at how steady he has been for us, how consistent he's been for us. When you need that tough yard, he's been able to get it. And the ball security that he has had since he's been here, I think in his entire career at Rice, you've had one fumble in 3 years. I mean, that's with a lot of carries, you know, and somebody's going to take care of a football like that and being productive as he is, we got to get the ball in his hands.
Coach, I know we talked about it before, but starting off with Western Kentucky, you know, just a tough game so far. It's a little bit more anxiousness, I guess, you know, in camp, knowing that you're starting off with such a tough game.
Well, I think, you know, one of the things you really want to do is start off with the Western Kentucky. And I tell you why I like it, is if you play somebody you're vastly superior than, you don't come out of that game knowing where your weaknesses are. You know, we're going to go up there and compete. We're going to go on the road and try to win a conference ball game. But at the same time, when that one's over, you become a better team, because they may show you what you need to change from a personnel standpoint on your kickoff team or your punt team. You know, they're going to find where you're weak, and week 2 is when all those changes occur in college football. So I'm excited about opening with a conference opponent, but I'm more excited about opening with such a good football program too. Yeah, well, I mean, we're excited about it. You know, it's great to get an old Southwest Conference opponent in Rice Stadium. And, you know, we'll talk about the schedule at the team meeting, and then we'll talk about it today, and then the rest of the time all we're going to talk about is Western Kentucky, because that's the most important game on the schedule right now. But it's thrilling to bring Baylor here. You know, we're excited about it, to get them in this stadium.
And and I know this statement gets overblown, but people refer to things as like statement games with where you had been, you know, where you were through Shape Bowl games. Western Kentucky, do you look at that as your team? You look at that as an opportunity to say, this is Rice football, and it's not going to be like it was in Gary.
You know, I think it's an opportunity for us to say we're back, and we're going to function at a high level and do the things we didn't do last season. You know, I don't know if it's not going to make or break our season, but it's one where we want to perform, you know, very well against a tough opponent on the road.
Did you bring back Ziggy this year?
Ziggy's always welcome over here. Ziggy pops in whenever he wants. Pops in and runs around here like he owns the place, and that's fine. We encourage Ziggy to keep coming with his family. He is a great young man. And that's, you know, one of the things really proud of this football team. When Ziggy walks through the door, everything stops, and Ziggy's the center of attention and the main focus.